Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Holistic Hub with Marie
Hello.
and Eileen.
Nice to be back.
Yes, we've had a couple of weeks off. We've been in the midst of Lionsgate, series portals, eclipse season. It's been a massive time, and I'm sure you've all been feeling it out there. But today's hot topic is the violet flame, which will only add to your already existing skill set. And if you have already been using the violet flame in your life, perhaps there'll be something new that you'll understand about the violet flame today, or perhaps it'll just remind you of when, how, and what to do to utilize it. And Marie is a beautiful soul that has amplified the violet flame in my life. And as I've seen her amplify it in her life, every moment of every day. And I have seen the gifts of the violet flame through Marie's teachings of the violet flame to me. And that is what we're going to share with you today. So, because I feel like Marie's going to be governing a lot of today, I might just share my most recent violet flame story. Now, although I do use the violet flame every day, I just wanted to kick in and share this one when we were down at the snow. So we just rocked up to our accommodation in Jindabyne, and my daughter said straight away to me, she's like, "Oh, this place feels a little bit icky, Mum." And, obviously it's the snow. So people are coming and going consistently in these small accommodation areas over and over again. Plus, I feel like just the total influx of people from all directions into one small space, it just makes the energy of a situation just so much more fueled with different energies. So I went to my bag to get my sage. Boom, there is no sage. Minor panic on my behalf. That was slightly like evaded after I realized that, well, no, just use your light, Martine. And what are you going to start with? You're going to start with the violet flame. So what I did was I violet flamed the entire space. And within seconds, it felt like it had changed.
Yeah.
And every time we came back to that space, I just reignited that violet flame, and it just felt clean. And Isla didn't complain about it. Even a couple of days later, she said, "This space feels really nice now, Mum. It feels like our little home away from home." And, you know, it was really good.
The perfect teacher, Isla.
Always.
They know, they sense it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, over to you, Marie. Tell us about the violet flame.
Okay, well, there's so much to say, but I'm going to try to condense it and I'm going to try and stay on point and on topic. But I'm very good at rambling and I can waffle too, but I'm going to attempt not to do that for you. So I want to take it right back to the guts and the beginning, that the violet flame is one of the most powerful tools that you can have in your arsenal of energetic skills. In fact, if there is any light tool to use, it's this one, as far as I'm concerned. The rest, they all complement each other. They're all part of the one. But the reason I'm so passionate is I know in my heart of hearts now, and have for some time, that part of my soul purpose and mission is to be the activator in many people's hearts and remembrance of what the violet flame is, and align them into that remembrance of the ancient teaching. I know that I have been a violet flame priestess in the violet flame temple in Atlantis. I have seen myself in many ways utilizing the flame in the past over the years, not initially, obviously, but it was the powerful moment where I resonated to it instantly without really knowing why. I loved Saint Germain, and we'll talk about him shortly, but I loved his presence as I learned about Saint Germain as the keeper of this magnificent flame, not the only one. But it came into my absolute energetic knowing back in 1999 when I utilized it, obviously in full momentum, in full intention, back when I was nursing. And it was the first time I manifested it and created it and saw it in visual, in physicality, just come around me and support me in the moment that I knew that I chose to go from lesser frequencies to a higher frequency. In that moment, I was choosing to raise myself from an instance with my then manager of a hospital, who I knew was coming to attack me. In that moment of seeing it, feeling it, and just being in the difference of what that flame offered me in that moment, changed my life literally. And it completely propelled me on the energetic path to understanding everything I could about energy. So that's for another story. But the violet flame itself, as I said, is ancient. It's been used, I mean, it's infinite, it's God essence, okay? But when we talk about violet ray, violet flame, or if we just talk about rays of light, we all know what a ray, they have a different color, but each ray has a property. It has certain energetic aspects that are specific to the color that you're utilizing. So when we're talking the violet ray, we're talking a mix of the amethyst and the pink ray combined. So the amethyst ray has, and you can look this up yourself. I don't want to go too deep and take up a lot of time. So do some research. But the amethyst ray, succinctly, is about ceremony. It's about magic. It's known as Merlin's ray, but its predominant clarity of energy tool is that it instantly, and its purpose is to transmute, transform, and transfigure all lower frequencies into highest frequencies possible in that moment instantly. Now, energy works instantly, okay? So when we're calling the violet flame or any ray of a flame, we're actually going even to a higher level of energy. So when we're calling in a flame as opposed to a ray, we're actually saying, now I want to step it up and I want to directly take and align to this ray of light, this flame, at the highest God level possible. So we're actually going up in dimensionality of the flame and the frequency raised. So with the violet flame, we are even expediting that energetic shift. So we can call on the ray, we can call on the flame. And as we become more aware of our consciousness and our energies, and as we know energy impacts, we can play accordingly, we can balance ourselves. We might choose to do the ray because we don't want to be hit with the frequencies, or, you know, put ourselves out there somewhere where, you know, these energies bring up stuff for us. So we might just want to dabble and play until we become more confident, or if you're ready, you go straight to the flame. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good or bad thing. It's just understanding that energy has different frequencies in according to how we utilize it. But the flame has been around, as I said, since the beginning of time. But in our consciousness knowledge, we have not been fully aware of utilizing the violet amethyst ray or the violet flame for many, many lifetimes. Okay, so the reason is we became dense. It's purely density and vibrations. And in all truth, it wasn't until the late 1800s, early 1900s, because our collective pathway of humanity was well below par where we were anticipating to be and where we had chosen at soul level to be. We were gifted through the great karmic board this great dispensation again to remember this violet flame, to literally expedite our path individually and collectively as humanity back into the rise towards the new earth that we had all agreed to on a higher level. So we came into this remembrance, and we had these beautiful way showers way back in the early days who were channeling this information again. And it really truly came into its essence of essences in the 60s to the 70s, but predominantly through this beautiful couple who I have certainly aligned to, that they have taught me a lot about the violet flame in reading, was Mark and Elizabeth Prophet, which you can look up there from the Summit Lighthouse University. She and he write beautifully, and Mark was one of the first ones to truly channel the Ascended Masters in the 60s, and I love their surname of Prophet. You know, energies, names, numbers, they all have a reason. But in utilizing this flame, as I said, you know, when we bring in that violet, we are calling in for change. We are calling in for instant shift and instant transformation of a frequency to a greater frequency. And you don't have to know everything about it. You know, do your reading, just dabble, try. Again, this path is about experimenting. It's about you playing with energies without fear, with that grace of knowing, well, how can this assist me? How can I learn? How can I, you know, understand? You know, you can only really, you can read as much as you like as far as I'm concerned, but it's in the doing that I have personally always gained. And in the doing, do I remember? You know, I forget lots of words that have no meaning to me, they're gone. They might have great terms and whatever, but if they don't mean anything to me, it's out the door. But I never forget something that makes me feel different, that makes me realize, wow, that worked for me. And I have since 1999 never stopped using this violet flame every single day of my life. And I don't say that lightly, I mean it. And my mantra for many years to many has been, you don't leave home without it. And I mean that. I use it the moment I wake up through the night. I use it the moment I wake up in the morning. I use it in the shower. I use it in my cooking. I use it in my home. I use it outside. I use it for Mother Earth. I use it in the skies. I use it with whatever, however, with my crystals, with my family. Anyone that meets me does never leave me without knowing about it. And even if they're not awake, they have still heard me mention the violet flame, because I know, as I said earlier, my mission here is not to convert and it's not to preach, but it is to plant the seed. That if anybody awakens to it as they're ready, they'll have heard it. And what I absolutely love about this is that even in my family who aren't awake, so to speak, and, you know, I want to get rid of those terms as well now, but I love how it comes back to me in times where, wow, I get a surprise and they say, I remembered the violet flame. I thought of you straight away and I used it. Or someone came into me and they mentioned the violet flame and I thought of you straight away. And that just makes my heart sing, because I know the seed's been planted and I know it will fruit in divine time. But it is a powerful tool. As Martine said, it works. And I remember this person a long time ago when there was something going on and they said to me, you can't use the violet flame all the time and in everything. And I said, yeah, you can. But we learn. We do that. We learn our way through, but it is something as simple as drinking your water, fill it with violet. Having a bath last night, I filled it with violet. My cooking, as I said, it's filled with violet. And why? Because for me, we don't know the energies of anything or anybody. And again, it's not a judgment tool. But for me, it's a personal tool of, I wish and I choose and intend to maintain my frequency at the highest possible vibratory rate that I can, for me and for the work that I choose to be and do, and for the vessel that I aim to be for God to flow through. So that is why I choose to maintain it and to utilize it. It's not a judgment that, oh, they're not good or they've got bad energies, never. But I know at the same time that whoever comes into my field or comes into my home will also receive those vibrations, whether they're conscious or not. And their soul will choose to take that on, whether they consciously choose to or not. And so for me, it's always an offering. It's a gift that I give to the Earth Mother. It's somewhere in all supermarkets and shopping centres. I never, as I said, I never leave home without it, because I'm just pumping it. My land, my house pumps it constantly. I'm offering it as far and as wide, and I surrender that up into Spirit's hands, my higher self. But I'm always intending to offer it wherever I go as the gift of opportunity to whichever soul chooses to feel it, recognise it, or take it up. So I'll hand this back to Martina. How does that feel? Is there something you want to add to that, or is there something I've forgotten that you need to?
Well, speaking from someone who really has no idea whether she was at the Amethyst Temple or whether, you know, I don't get those kinds of information. I don't know if I'm a keeper of the violet flame, but I will speak from learning how to bring it more into my daily life. Like Marie was talking, how it's in her cooking and it's in everything that she does. That's been something that I can share with you as a journey for me, as I've invited the violet flame more and more into my life. And for those who know me, know that a lot of my journey to myself, I would make up little things to help remind me of the time as to why I'm making the choice in a certain way. So for years, I can't remember when I decided this. I think it was in my 20s. I had like a bumper sticker I used to put on the back of my head that was, karma, just say no. And it literally meant that I was aiming not to continue to create karma. And so because Sagittarian fiery meant that I can, like, you know, my automatic response for most of my 20s was to react, not respond. So someone would say something to me and I'd be like, what? And I would react. And so, you know, it then, like, my karma, just say no bumper sticker, dawned from the fact that I saw that not working in my life. It was just like something that I realized was creating more conflict, was creating less connection, was creating less love, like all of those things. So the violet flame for me has been like the next step from that, where it kind of dissolved the need for such a bumper sticker, where I started to utilize that violet flame in everything that I did that I was previously adopting from that philosophy of, I don't really want to have a reaction. I want to be responding from my truth and a love body. And so I would say that I used it a lot when before sending emails that I had to perhaps articulate my needs or my desires in. I've used it with any, like, people, like any people, like conversations, anything that has felt like awkward or difficult for me to have. I'll bring in that violet flame first. And how I like to imagine it is, you know, being science geek, I have a violet flame Bunsen burner, and it sits sort of around my base chakra and sometimes moves into my solar plexus. But basically all I need to do is, you know, if you remember the Bunsen burners, you just switch it on and it blasts Bunsen burner light. And so that's what my violet flame does. And I also set up I've got this beautiful poinciana in the middle of my yard, and I set that up to be my violet. Do you remember when I did that, Marie? When we did that? And we set that up to be my violet flame tree. So again, it's like I set that as my Bunsen burner. So whenever I think or see that tree, it reminds me to light the light as well. So setting up practical things like that. And then the other one that I'm really fond of as well is, you know, Marie and I, you'll learn very quickly that we're very passionate about not aligning to anything less than love, and particularly focused on where ego therein lies. And so Marie and I are constantly having conversations about, you know, when we feel passionate about something, is there still any ego in that? And you know, for those who also know me, know that I've been also very passionate always about my health and well-being, and I'll eat organic food, and, you know, I'm one of those. And Marie has said to me, I can't remember how many years ago, when I couldn't get a hold of some organic produce, or we were on celery juice or something like that, and I said, I can't get any organic celery juice at the moment. And she's like, well, I've just been violet flaming mine. And I remember looking at the celery and going, do I trust that? Do I trust the violet flame to be able to transmute that celery? And I just went, challenge accepted. And I did. And I chose to not buy the organic celery as a, you know, and it smashed through some belief structures again, just amplifying what the violet flame does. It amplifies. It brings us up to that highest frequency where, you know, in that highest frequency, you can't align with those whatever chemicals or whatever you're viewing that to be, because that is a less than love frequency anyway.
Well, I think that's a really, can I just butt in there, Martine? Because I think that's a really important point, because again, you know, when we use the flame, and it's amazing again, that self-check on us again, where we're actually coming from fear. Because even just in, oh, I need the organic, well, that's kind of, you know, oh, I have to have this because if I don't, it's less than, and it's not good and it's going to harm me, or that's going to harm me because it's got chemicals in it. And we're doing this whole round and round and round. But at the end of the day, we have to keep remembering we're the creator, the ultimate creator. And our thoughts are our everything. Doesn't matter what's in our physicality. And it's the same with, I remember in a similar vein, but different, with mainstream medicine. Because we live in this world where we still have the end of 3D paradigms happening. And, you know, I learned big time with my kids, and particularly one of them who's always done the very physical hospital doctor path that she took me on for greater reasons. But part of that, what like you just described, was learning how to, when she was taking these medicines and I was waking up. So I was doing this in a medicinal aspect of going, I don't want her to have these chemicals, but then the same thing one day of going, what the hell am I doing? What am I putting out there? What am I thinking? What am I creating here with? Where in a moment it was like, it doesn't matter. This is energy, full stop. And it's what I believe that's important. And as you just said, do I have doubt? Now, any doubt, any time or any fear that we might be asking for the violet flame or any ray, or even angels, archangels, God, you name it, whatever name you're calling for in that moment, if you've got doubt or fear attached, you're not being assisted, full stop, in any way, because of the vibrational discord that's in place. Where these moments that we're kind of both discussing are as we wake up to what we're doing and daring to smash through some old patterns that might be hanging off us that we've been programmed to, and dare to give it a go, was how I personally, like you probably did with the celery, was go first and foremost, well, the journey here, yes, I'm co-creating with my daughter, but it's predominantly her journey because she's got to take the stuff, not me. So I pulled back straight away and flamed my stuff because I was picking up my ego and my fear. And then I cut the cords to allow her then, well, what is in her highest good? So I raised that with the flame being in it straight away, but then said too, at the highest level, to her higher self, this is your show. This is your show. This is your journey. So I'm going to play with you, but I'm going to now offer that as a child, and yes, we're here as parents with our children, and she was a lot younger then, but I then intended that she still have what she needed, or she was choosing to journey with, but that the flame transmute everything less than that is not in her highest good or accord. And in that moment, then I could pull out, because I had the belief and the trust and the faith in the violet. I flooded that pill, whatever it was at the time that she had to take, in the violet. But at the same time, I surrendered that up to her higher self so that I wasn't interfering and creating any karma for the greater picture and journey. And I trusted in the flame more and more and more, in knowing that I know how that works. And I know whatever she's meant to get is then in divine accord, because I put that request up and I can just pull fully out.
And did you notice a change with her? Like, did you notice that things started to shift, or are they still just shifted? Yeah.
Absolutely. Because again, if we're involved in the mix with our fear, we're creating at that level. So we're going to see what we don't want always. But this is that whole discernment path when we go, and we get that flash of the moment of going, what am I doing here? And discerning whose path it really is. And are we taking over, or are we going to walk side by side to learn and discover, and then use these great tools and skills accordingly to free all involved, so that the highest good can take place for all. And this again is what the flame does of violet, is that it's raising everything to the highest level of purpose and good for everyone, or you're just yourself involved. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for that, Celery. And sorry to cut you off, but I just thought that was
okay. I love that. And also, speaking of fear, like, it's okay to start off, like, I feel like it's okay to start off by utilizing the violet flame if you are in fear, because it automatically starts to transmute it into its frequency. So previously, when I've been so in a state like of fear or anxiety, or wherever I was at, I would bring the violet flame in, but it would perhaps initially be from a place of fear and wanting the violet flame to come in here and solve the problem. That I would be quickly using the words like violet flame, set me free, over and over again. And that would then allow me to authentically bring the violet flame in, much like any tool. Like, you might light sage from a place of, this is really hard. But when you start to breathe the aroma in of the sage and feel the sage, that's when you drop into it.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid that you don't have to be in perfect alignment to bring that violet flame in, because you're not meant to bring it in with fear. It's bring it in and use it however and whenever you remember.
Yeah, and trial it. And you know, it's like we said before, the more you use it, the more you'll get to see how it works and when it works. So everything's a teaching, you know, and we've just got to be willing. And you know, our head might be saying something as well, but our soul is also ready on another level to counter and to accept and to, you know, initiate that ray, that flame as you're asking for it. And even if it's a smidge to begin, it's enough. And then gradually you just become more accustomed, more in faith and trust to it, and you just start using it in bigger and bigger ventures, and you start to expand your knowingness and beingness to it. Yeah.
And you know, it's something that I always like, you know, send my daughter off with, or like with a line of the violet flame, or, you know, guess what I'm doing right now? I'm flooding her school with the violet flame. You know, it becomes an instant practice, and especially once you've done that in a particular area, it's almost like it becomes second nature to make, just like when Marie was talking about the supermarket, you know, it's something that's second nature for me as I come into the car park, or even before of the supermarket, or even as I think of the supermarket that I'm about to go into, it gets the violet flame. So it's kind of just like building on this memory imprint, and building on you know, knowing that it actually served you, because everything runs a lot more smoothly when you're in that. That's the result.
Yep, and you're happier.
Yeah.
You just feel like nothing can touch you. And I mean, the kids that I've ever taught, and there's been lots of the kids that I've taught about how to use the flame, and kids get things really quickly, so teach your children and listen to them. But, you know, how the kids really loved utilizing this too was, I used to tell them, you wear it like a superhero cape, like put it on and just see it. And then the incredible visuals that they then got from that, of, you know, they thought they were invincible, or they could do anything, and nothing could touch them. And this is exactly what the energy of this is. It is a magic flame. It's fantastic. But could I just, because I know we're going to try and condense this today a little bit, but the most important part I want to just bring in now, and then we can go on to whatever after, is very much about where we're heading, because the new earth and the whole Aquarian age is governed by this magnificent flame. This is all about the violet flame era that we are now in. And beloved Saint Germain, who he and Lady Portia are the keepers of this flame. They are twin souls that hold and have held the violet flame for, you know, eons of time. Saint Germain is the overarching, and Lady Portia the overarching two masters who are governing this new era of peace and the new earth that is the Aquarian age. So we've got this beautiful overarching flame and energy that we're moving into, which is the violet flame energies, which is also why we're seeing this great shift taking place, because this energy is now transforming the earth. It is the cosmic frequencies coming into each one of us that knows it deeply within our soul, coming into the remembrance again in our consciousness. But this is the flame that's transmuting us now fully from 3D through 4D and into the 5D and beyond. Very much our holistic hub intro. It's true. This is the energy, the frequency that we are now all fully consciously and will be connecting into. It's just the most beautiful frequency. And again, you know, the whole new earth is about the new creations that we're doing. So to do that, we have to be transforming and transmuting the old that no longer serve us, so that we truly can create the new. That's in our personal being world, and also in that greater collective that we speak of. So I just wanted to drop that in. Because
and what better way to start to do that but through utilizing the violet flame again?
Absolutely.
Like, even when if you're still transmuting it through the physical body, you know, what can you do alongside with whatever echinacea or homeopathics that you're on? First and foremost, you bring that violet flame in and you flood the area with it. You feel like in that moment it's going to be really challenging, but that's why, you know, maybe you set the intention out to your friends, that maybe you set the memo, hey, if I ever call you in distress, can you just remind me first and foremost of the violet flame? Because that again has been super handy in my conversations. Hey, ring, ring. Hey, Marie, how you going? And then she'll be like, well, have you violet flamed? And I'll be like, damn it. Give me a minute.
You don't know how many people I say that to. Have you flamed yet? No, I forgot. I'll give it a shot, then get back to me.
Yeah. I feel like lesson learned now. Like I feel like it's been a couple of years since you've had to mention that. And I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yes.
Yes. No, you're well ensconced in it now.
Yeah. Well, what would you like to do, Marie? Would you like to guide in for a quick violet flame meditation? Did you want to do a violet flame decree? What are you kind of feeling?
Well, I could start off with the Violet Flame Decree, which again is a decree that I have just learned and memorized since I God knows when, 2000s. But it's all powerful as well. And it is one from Mark and Elizabeth Prophet, who I mentioned earlier. And then we can just flip into, yeah, maybe just a quick visual on the flame to get to know it. But before I do that quickly, because I know we're trying to keep these short, the biggest part for you to, even if you're having anxiety issues, if you're feeling really fearful or there's something coming up, there's a lot coming up now for everybody. So whatever is rising and you know that there's the triggers there, you've got fear, there's something underlying, just do a quick, now, so many people say to me, I'm not visual. That's okay, it doesn't matter. Get yourself an amethyst crystal, okay? As big or as small as you want, it doesn't matter. I've got a range of sizes, okay? Just do it. Your intention is everything. You don't have to see. You don't have to know the master's names. You don't have to know all the qualities. You don't have to just intend the flame. Done. Now, that's all you got to do. Put the crystal in your pocket. Wear purple. Get something to just remind you, to align you to the frequencies. Wrap yourself in a purple blanket if you're just struggling. Put a purple pillow under your head at night. Wear purple through the day if you know you're going somewhere that you just want that support. You know, as simple as these sound, these are your intentions. You're saying, I'm aligning to the frequency of the violet flame. Done. That's it. Sage. Sage for me is the physical counterpart of the violet flame. Okay, so it's doing the same thing in physical. It's teaching about energy. It's clearing your field just like the violet. When you combine both and you intend that the violet flame angels walk with you, you're amplifying, amplifying, amplifying. Okay, but with that moment of real, when you're stuck, just feel the solar plexus, feel your gut, feel where that pain, that fear, that anxiety is sitting, and just picture purple. Just bring in that purple first, okay? Just put your crystal on your stomach, just whatever works for the blanket, and just intend then higher self take charge. You're setting up the willingness, you're handing off to the higher self that knows exactly what to do now. And just breathe and breathe and breathe. And what you're then doing is, where fear is a very slow frequency and tone, you're intending now a higher frequency, starting to bring it in. As I said, that violet's got love. Now, this is the key point, because where love is, fear cannot be. So the minute you start to bring that violet flame in, you're bringing now love. Even, you know, I've got people seeing it like from their heart, even, that they're dripping some pink into the stomach. It's like turn on a tap, open a door, let the river come through, violet, bit of pink in there, but bring it in just into that solar plexus where fear lives. That's the house of fear. And then just see the difference. You'll start to feel just through the breath, and you might want to breathe in that color. You'll start to feel the change, which we'll do in a moment. But I just wanted to say, don't forget, you've got all these beautiful tools around you. Sage, absolutely. I swear by sage. Whatever can give you that comfort so that then you can then step into your energetic practices. That's all you need to start with. Okay.
And the reminders of where to set up. That's why that violet flame tree got set up for me. That's why I have the violet flame Bunsen burner. And, you know, there are certain spaces that really got amplified with the violet flame before it got expanded out into all aspects, you know, and certain things, like, as I said, before I email, before I text, it always gets sent with the violet flame so that nothing's misinterpreted. It's all taken up to that highest light. And without a shadow of a doubt, any time that I haven't taken that violet flame with me, it all
ding. Yep. created the moment to remember.
Yeah, it did. It did. It created new lessons.
There you go. Okay, so there might even be a part 2 to this because there's so much information, but we can do that down track. But here is the decree. I am the violet flame in action in me now. I am the violet flame, to light alone I bow. I am the violet flame in mighty cosmic action. I am the violet flame. Ah, I've lost that line. That's because I never say it so slow. Isn't that funny? Hang on. I am the violet flame in action in me now. I am the violet flame to light alone I bow. I am the violet flame in mighty cosmic action. I am the light of God shining every hour. No, that's not right. Oh my God, this is terrible. Isn't this bizarre?
No, just breathe and then just start again.
Maybe this is why I'm doing this.
It's also because we're usually like, from when you've ever done it in a group, I always repeat it after you.
Yeah, I know. I never do it so quick. This is the
Yeah.
thing, and I do it in my mind. It's
Yeah.
not an excuse at all, but it's like, wow, this is happening
Would you
for
like
a
me
reason.
to repeat it for you?
No, because I'm going to go. I'm just going to say
Great.
this is
Can
how
you
it
show
is.
that book? Because that book's so
Yeah, and
wonderful
maybe
as well.
this is why. You know,
Yeah.
this is predictable. This is the book I've had for so many years since I first discovered Elizabeth and Mark, and this is their hand heart decree book. And it's beautiful. And on the back, they've got this beautiful image, which again, I have shown to you. I can't tell you countless people just to have that image. So there's your violet flame, and that's us in it, in our beautiful tube of light, our beautiful pillar of light, all the way to our causal being and our higher self. Okay. So
and you can get that book from the Summit Lighthouse, or often Marie and I will have it in stock as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so yeah, maybe I just had to do that, but that's just
I feel like
so funny. But it's perfect. It's something I have said this decree since, I don't know, 20 something years. Isn't that funny? But now I can't find the decree. It's in here.
I like the one that the triple ring protection. That one too. I really like that one.
Oh yes. Look, there's so many amazing, you know, I'm happy actually. If people are interested in this decree book, please give me a shout on my team, because I am happy to order them in and send them out. They will cost, obviously, and I'll have to see if they're available, but they're fantastic decrees. Okay, so here we go. Oh, I was very close. I just said the wrong word, I think, and it threw me. I am the violet flame in action in me now. I am the violet flame, to light alone I bow. I am the violet flame in mighty cosmic power. I am the light of God shining every hour. I am the violet flame blazing like a sun. I am God's sacred power, freeing everyone. And that is ultimately, in succinct form, the word that I would use for what the violet flame's true power is. And I call it is your freedom flame. It is your freedom tool in all ways, on the physical, emotional, mental, and the etheric self. And that's how we utilize it. Okay, so we can just do a very quick violet meditation. So just be comfortable. And I want you to just settle in wherever you be, standing, sitting, lying. And I just want you to breathe. Just slow the breath, let the chatter go, the words, and just breathe into your being. Feel your body, just slow and deepen the breath. And as you can, and if you can, just imagine that colour purple to begin if it's easier, or violet if you can, with a little bit of pink. Again, it's your intention. Nothing has to be perfect. Look at me just a minute ago. But just allow this colour to come through. Now, you may see it that you're in the middle of a crystal. So be it. You may see it as a mist. You may see it as the flame, like the Bunsen burner Martine speaks of. I see it often as a hurricane. You may choose to be just in a water body that's now of that violet purple colour. Doesn't matter. It's your creation. Enjoy it. Allow it. Wherever you be, however you find it or see it or know it, feel it, just allow it now to work its way up through your feet. Intend this magnificent freedom flame. Begin to come through the soles of the feet, rising up through your legs. And you might see it now swirling. You might see variances on the colour. You might see it changing in its appearance to how you started with it. Work through it, but just let it rise up through your legs, coming right up through you into the base chakra, and really intending now freedom flame through my base. Old ancient patterns. And in this space where you see it burning or you feel it in the base, imagine the flame anchors there. It might just look like a campfire. But as you see it now and you know it's in the base, now see the Earth Mother below you and see that she is filled with violet too. And that between you, you are now connecting, be it in waves, be it in frequencies, be it in flame, be it in light. But you are now having this huge connection of violet between you. And that light, that sea, that mist, that flame continues up into your sacral chakra, where actually the sacral chakra is the home of the violet flame. And let it blaze through here too, within and without of you. It can just be through the breath that you see how it quickens in the center, but then it expands out, slowing as it does. As matter expands, it slows, and you bring it back and it quickens, front and back to the sides of you, all around you. And you may now start to see, as you attune to it, that as you're raising this frequency and you're bringing it through, you might see black little debris, or you might see things coming off you, or just flashes that are just starting to appear around you, as this is the flame in action, transmuting, and you're not even doing anything except intending or seeing this beautiful flame. It's working. And you bring it up, intend it up into the solar plexus, as I said earlier, and really bring it in here, into this house of fear. But with no fear. Bring it in power. To say, welcome, violet flame. Blaze through this magnificent generator that I am here. Burn through the dross. Blaze through every known and unknown fear, anxiety, and into any of the creases in my body that I don't even know about. Permeate. I let go. With this powerful flame, I release and I let go. And just feel how you're starting to feel different. And now bring it up into your beautiful heart. Breathe it deeply in here, into the lungs, into the heart chakra. And on the out breath, release again, letting go. And now check your body from your heart down. You might see tight cords here. You might see ropes, chains, shackles. You might see things hanging off you that are of darkness. Again, intend that flame. Just watch how the flame, when you intend with it and you allow it to do its work, watch how it just instantly transmutes. It clears, it raises. These things fall away. They dissolve. They're gone. Watch the show of magic. You are. And then let it rise up into your throat, this huge, powerful chakra of choice. And choose now, I choose the flame to work with you, to know you, that you assist me on all levels now. And see it just blazing out through your neck, through your throat, your whole body from the throat down, covered in violet. And I want you to see or feel now on your shoulders heavy cloaks, heavy weights that have weighed you down, crosses on your back, any knives, daggers, anything you're feeling, they will appear now, and you can take them off, you can pull them out, you can throw them into this beautiful, beautiful violet around you, this mist, this flame, and watch them dissolve again. And keep freeing yourself, freeing yourself, freeing yourself. Lighten the load. And take another big breath. And then let it move up through the jaw, through the mouth, through the face, right up into your third eye. And again, let it pour out, burn through the third eye, through your ears. Watch it as it moves through and out these portals, these orifices, through your mouth, clearing all the pathways. Again, you might see stuff coming out. Let it go. You don't need to know. And then finally through your crown chakra, letting it blaze through the top of your crown. And then see here, there may be a doorway. See if the doorway, or like almost a unit that we have in our house, that we can pull that trap above, we can pull the door back, we can open it up and let that flame burst through. But you see above this doorway the flame descending towards you, and they merge and it implodes, and you are just this ginormous flame now, expansive. And intend, may every cell, every atom, every electron that I am now, throughout my mental, my emotional, my physical, and my grand etheric self, on all timelines of consciousness that I am, receive this flame now. Transmute all that is less than love. Transmute all patterns, frequencies of discord that I am now choosing to release and free myself from. And watch it, maybe a hurricane burning through you now, raising, increasing in intensities, and let it blaze through. You might see wind all around you now. It's doing its clearance. Allow. And like taking your vessel, your car in for a service of clearance, which you have just done. Intend now that you are now filled with the good oil, the light of source, the gold, whatever ray, white light, your choice. Bring it down as the violet has now released from you parts of you, cells that have no longer been needed. We replace it with light, with love light, with source light. And we fill ourselves up again, every cell, every atom, every electron that I am on all levels of my being now. I replenish, I refuel, I recharge, I realign, I reactivate. From above to below, from within to without, from source to the earth mother, you are now light. You are violet, you are all rays, you are all. And seal yourself now either in the tube or pillar of divine light, in geometry, however it is for you, that you know, balloon, that you are sealed absolutely to maintain these new higher frequencies. And they will remain until you choose to lessen them, be it by thought, word, or action. And so it is. And just bring yourself back into your space and just feel the difference. Feel that you're lighter, you're clearer, clarity, freer. And so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is. It is done.
Thanks, Marie.
That's all right. Hope that helps.
Mm.
Okay, well, we might call it a day for now.
I'm zenned out right now, so you'll have to call it. I can't call it anymore.
Well, thank you, everybody. I hope this helps. Again, we're looking forward to questions. We're trying to get a series or an episode coming where we'll answer them. But I'm sure there's questions as they arise for you. Just send them our way. We're open. I hope that helps somewhat. There's so much more about the violet flame, so much to tell, but hopefully that's a little bit of a starter for some, or just a reminder for others. And it is my passion. I love it. There's so much to impart, but utilize it. Use it is all I can say.
Yep.
So
May
thanks,
the violet
Martin.
flame be with you.
May the force of the violet be with you. Absolutely. Empower yourself. All right. You take care.
Next time, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.
See you soon. Bye.